Here we go. Picking up with the next very basic Bible. Quick read. We're in Matthew chapter 15, verse 16. Okay, here we go. Are you still so dull? Jesus asked them. That's a crazy place to pick up. So Peter said, explain the parable to us. Jesus, are you still that dull? Don't you see that whatever enters the mouth up here, what goes into someone's mouth does not defile them? Jesus is telling that to the crowds after confronting the Pharisees about food. Here we go. Do you not see that whatever enters the mouth goes into the stomach and then out of the body? But the things that come out of a person's mouth come from the heart, and those defile the man. For out of the heart come evil thoughts, murder, adultery, sexual immorality, theft, false testimony, slander. These are what defile a person. But eating with unwashed hands does not defile them. It might make you sick, but it doesn't make one unclean. So it might make one unsanitary, but it does not make one unholy. Leaving that place, Jesus withdrew to the region of Tyre and Sidon, really far north of Galilee. A Canaanite woman from that vicinity came to him, crying out, Lord, Son of David, have mercy on me. My daughter is demon-possessed and suffering terribly. Jesus did not answer a word. So his disciples came to him and urged him, send her away, for she keeps crying out after us. He answered, I was sent only to the lost sheep of Israel. The woman came and knelt before him. Lord, help me, she said. He replied, it is not right to take the children's bread and toss it to the dogs. Yes, it is, Lord, she said. Even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from their master's table. Then Jesus said to her, woman, you have great faith. Sweet. Your request is granted. Jesus is constantly telling people, hey, it's your faith. Okay? And her daughter was healed at that moment. Jesus left there. So wait, even though he was not called to preach to anyone except the Jews, he helps this lady. Pretty cool, huh? That's not my job. Hey, look, help the people. Follow the example of Jesus. All right, Jesus left there and went along the Sea of Galilee. Then he went up on a mountainside and sat down. Great crowds came to him, bringing the lame, the blind, the crippled, the mute, and many others, and laid them at his feet, and he healed them. Of course he did. He's always doing that. The people were amazed when they saw the mute speaking, the crippled made well, the lame walking, and the blind seeing, and they praised the God of Israel. Let your light shine before men, so people may see your good deeds and praise your God in heaven. Jesus called his disciples to him and said, I have compassion for these people. They have already been with me 3 days and have nothing to eat. I do not want to send them away hungry, or they may collapse on the way. His disciples answered, let's do another miracle, the loaves and fishes. Where could we get enough bread in this remote place to feed such a crowd? Dope. Okay. How many loaves do you have? Jesus said. 7, they replied, and a few small fish. He told the crowd to sit down on the ground. Then he took the 7 loaves and the fish, and when he had given thanks, he broke them and gave them to the disciples, and they in turn to the people. They all ate and were satisfied. Afterward, the disciples picked up 7 basketfuls of broken pieces that were left over. The number of those who ate was 4,000 men, besides women and children. We just heard this story. You would think the disciples would get it. After Jesus had sent the crowds away, he got into the boat and went to the vicinity of Magadan. Like, man, dude keeps getting into a boat, going up on mountainsides, going to Tyre and Sidon, really far away. He's trying to get away from crowds. They keep coming, and then he helps them anyway. The Pharisees and Sadducees came to Jesus and tested him by asking him to show them a sign from heaven. He replied, when evening comes, you say, it will be fair weather, for the sky is red. And in the morning, today it will be stormy, for the sky is red and overcast. Okay. When evening comes, you say, it'll be fair weather, the sky is red. When morning comes, today it's stormy, for the sky in the morning, the sky is red. Okay. You know how to interpret the appearance of the sky, but you cannot interpret the signs of the times. They test him, asking for a sign from heaven. A wicked and adulterous generation looks for a sign, but none will be given it except the sign of Jonah. He said that earlier. They were like, hey, let's see a sign. He's like, you ain't going to get no sign except the sign of Jonah. Jesus then left them and went away. I just noticed that I forgot to set my timer. 8 minutes. Okay, we'll read a little further and see. When they went across the lake, the disciples forgot to take bread. Be careful, Jesus said to them. Be on your guard against the yeast of the Pharisees and Sadducees. The disciples discussed among themselves and said, is it because we didn't bring any bread? Did Jesus tell us to beware of the yeast of Pharisees and Sadducees because we brought no bread? Aware of their discussion, Jesus asked, you have little faith. Why are you talking among yourselves about having no bread? We'll stop there. We'll pretend like that's a timer. I think that's about 8 minutes. Might be a little shorter, might be a little longer. I'm not sure. Remember, guys, if any of these, if you're like, no, BJ, what did that mean? No, I don't understand that. Why does he keep going across the boat? He called a lady a dog. Why did they do the miracle twice? Remember, in my show notes, I have verse by verse teaching from scholars and teachers, people with the gift of teaching and such. Go look at those and look up these verses and you can get that. But for now, large chunks of scripture into our soul. See y'all later, guys.